Taking a look at commitments for the boys class of 2026, it's no surprise that the ACC is off to a big start with tons of 5 and 4 stars flying off the board. Let's take a look at some of the classes for each school. Let's start with Duke. Duke committed a couple players early in George Kelly and Wynn Chandler, and then patiently in week 2 made a splash with several 5 stars committed. Bennett Matthews committed a do-it-all midi that can create and strikes comparisons to All-American Duke midfielder Dave Lawson. Teddy Frizzoli out of Massachusetts is a spark plug initiator that Duke is going to need to play well off of Michael Ortlieb and crew. James Gillis out of Chaminade and Express is consistently in the conversation for top player in the class. He's an extremely slick lefty, and I love how he shoots off the dodge and time and room. One of the steals in the class for Duke might be Brett Lundberg. His best-in-class combine scores affirm that his athleticism is elite, running a 2.11 flying 20, a 9 feet 5 inch broad jump, and a 32 inch vertical. Lundberg plays for Malvern Prep and for Team 10, and he's going to be a force in the middle of the field as a short stick. Duke finished off the class with Dylan Malone, a big-time scorer and midfielder out of LaSalle. And coming off of an injury, Malone's going to be one to ascend the rankings and really be a top contributor by the time he gets to Duke. After Duke, we can't have an ACC discussion without Notre Dame and Virginia. Notre Dame started off the class strong with likely commitments from Dylan Faison and John Budafuco. After September 1, Hunter Metz entered the chat, a slick attackman out of McDonough and Crabs Lacrosse. Notre Dame continued their tear, landing elite defender Joe Ligas out of San Francisco. Kieran Sweeney, a face-off man out of McDonough, joins. And then elite playmaker Jace Banks out of the Hill School and FCA committed to Notre Dame, rounding out a big-time class for the Fighting Irish. Just when you thought it might be a little quiet on the Virginia front, they landed a multitude of 5 stars. Top 10 playmaker Lucas Garcia committed, number 1 goalie in the class Hunter Mezzatesta, and lefty Tuck Gilbane out of Massachusetts. Josh Logan, a big-time midfielder out of Episcopal and Mad Dog, as well as Ethan Bramoff, long stick midi out of St. Anthony's and Express. What could prove to be a pivotal piece in this Virginia class is Tanner Ulrich, a two-way midfielder out of St. Ignatius, West Coast Stars, and Advance. He reminds me of Ryan Conrad in that Swiss Army knife style, who could prove to do a lot of different things for the Virginia Cavaliers. Syracuse made a splash with 3 big-time commits. Jaden James, considered one of the top defenders in the class. He's an elite athlete and could be a shutdown 1v1 guy for Syracuse. Hanson Peck out of Lawrenceville in Team 91 is a big-time scorer and elite shooter and draws comparisons to Hopkins lefty shooter Hunter Chalvet. Lastly, Nick Rayfield out of Marcellus, New York and Sweet Lax provides a big presence in the middle of the field and will be a big-time athlete for Syracuse. North Carolina's been off to a hot start with 12 commitments according to Inside Lacrosse. 2 of these are 5 stars. One is Rick Giordano, the top midfield shooter out of the class out of Brunswick and Prime Time. He put on a show at Best in Class this summer. There's also 5-star midfielder Timmy Plunkett out of Iona Prep and a slew of 4-star players including Henry Boyd out of Georgia, Jackson Bond out of Highland Park, Charlie Cachabudo out of St. Anthony's, and faceoff man Joseph Kim out of Gilman. Kim will be a great pickup for the class as one of the top-rated faceoff men for North Carolina. Comment below who you think has the best class in the ACC.